Alright, so let's solve for section C sums. Yeah, here are the problems. Let's start with the first. Let's start with the first question, which is right here. Yeah. Hmm. Right. Okay. So the question is, yeah, this is a better scale to write. Mm, the question is differentiate sine of root of sine of root of sine of root of x. The question is to differentiate sine of root of sine of root of x with respect to x, obviously. So let us say, let me write this as y is equal to sine of root of x. Now what you're going to do is you're going to put this root of x as theta 1. So if you substitute it as theta 1, you will get y is equal to sine theta 1. The derivative of this, which is dy, would be cos theta 1, would be cos theta 1 times d theta 1. That is equal to cos root of sine of root of x times d derivative of theta 1. Theta 1 is sine of root of sine of root of x, root of sine of root of x. Now again, the function which is inside square root, I'm going to take this as theta 2, and I'm going to, let me use another color, I'm going to take it as theta 2, and I'm going to differentiate this with respect to x. So that should give me cos of the previous answer, which is cos of root of sine of root of x times derivative of theta 2, root of theta 2. Derivative of root of theta 2 would be 1 divided by 2 root theta 2. But what is theta 2? Theta 2 is sine root x times derivative of theta 2, which is derivative of root, no, not root has already been removed, so it should be sine of root of x. Now I'm again going to repeat this same procedure, and I'm going to find out derivative of sine of root of x. So that I should get as, first let us write the previous answer, which is cos of root of sine of root of x, divide it with this part, which is 2 times root of sine of root of x times derivative of sine of root of x should be cos of root of x times derivative of root of x. And what is derivative of root of x? Derivative of root of x is equal to 1 upon 2 root x. So that should give me cos of root of x upon 2 times root x. So the entire answer, now arranging the terms, would give me, in the denominator, I'm going to write 2 multiplied by 2. This 2 multiplied by this 2. That should give me 4 times root of x times root of sine of root of x, and on the denominator side I should get cos of root of x times cos of root of sine of root of x. So that is the answer. Okay, next question is solve using truth table negation p conditional q and P and R. Okay, can you see this question over here? Question number 15. So I'm going to if you want, you can skip around 2 minutes or 1 minute, 1.5 minutes to check directly the answer. I'm just going to solve this truth table now. So let's start. PQR, it should be TTF TFF. Next is FTT, FTF, ft, and finally f. Okay, next, let which is the easier one? Okay, let's do p and r. P and r first. So p and r, I should get true, false, 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 true, false, false, false. Next is negation p. So let's first find out negation p. Negation p would be all false. First four should be false. Next four should be true. It is the reverse of this first input. Okay, next step would be p, negation p conditional q. All right. Negation p is over here, q is over here. So the answer should be first four are false, for which the answer should be true. Next four are true. So I have to take the second input into consideration. Wherever there are false, here, there I will write false as the answer. And the first one would be true. Okay. Now this is my A. What is my A? This is A. And this is B. This is B. And I want to, this is my B. And I want to do A and B. So the final answer should be A and B. And that should be true, false, true, false, and then all four of them I guess are false. So that should be the answer. Okay, now what is this pattern? This pattern is, finally you have to write the answer as the pattern. The pattern is contingency. So that is the answer. Next question, question number 16. Differentiate root of sine of sine inverse of 2x times root of 1 minus x square. I have to differentiate d by dx of sine inverse of 2x times root of 1 minus x square. Okay, I'll start with first writing x is equal to sine theta. If x is equal to sine theta, then theta should be sine inverse of x. Okay, I'll write it down. I'll be needing it afterwards. Next, I'll substitute the value of x over here, and I should get sine inverse of 2x times okay, fine. So what should be, if x is sine theta, then x square should be sine square theta. 1 minus x square should be 1 minus sine square theta. 1 minus sine square theta is cos square theta. Square root of 1 minus x square is square root of cos square theta. That should be cos theta. Okay, so instead of writing square root of 1 minus x square, I'm once again going to rewrite this function as sine inverse of 2 times, in place of x I'm going to substitute sine theta. In place of square root of 1 minus x square, I'm going to substitute cos theta, and I'm going to use the formula 2 times sine theta and cos theta is equal to sine 2 theta. So that should give me sine inverse of sine 2 theta, and then sine and sine inverse gets cancelled. What remains is 2 theta. So the entire question now is simplified as 2 times theta. But what is theta? Theta is sine inverse of x. So the entire question now boils down to y is equal to 2 sine inverse of x, and I have to find the derivative of this, which would be dy by dx, and that should be 2 times square root of sine inverse of x, sine inverse of x, derivative of sine inverse of x will be square root of 1 minus x square. So the answer should be dy by dx is equal to 2 divided by square root of 1 minus x square. Next question.